them, then all of a sudden,
That's
damn it,
when
hits
it's correct.
you know why?
Gotcha.
Because it's so cold.
That I can
Pulling stuff down a little.
You got good problems with
And when,
the
unless you wanna get in your car instead of the air conditioning.
Yeah,
Well, here,
seriously.
up northwest we do.
I got my
Turn this on.
problem I have lately is this, why is it so bad that my
Light's not
contacts,
on
they
yet.
don't stick to my eyeball?
Genie.
Hey, Gina, the light, do you
see.
contact mean anything?
Yeah, I can't.
The bulbs.
I got one in right now because my left eye.
Oh,
is
the
just-
Switch it,
Get some coffee.
sometimes wear sunglasses help. Everybody's here.
All right.
Oh, is popsicles?
This is
Is
like
that a
they're,
popsicle?
does it feel like they're sitting further back today?
If I breathe through my mouth, I
Yeah,
can't breathe
yeah,
through my
they
nose.
Does it?
If I move
Is
the
that what it
chairs.
is?
It's a
No, I
restless,
didn't. Yeah, they're telling us.
it's a restless crowd.
Like a
I can put my glasses on to make sure.
like a cold soda, like the combination.
They are back there. You know,
I went to the eye doctor and he's like, your prescription's the same.
Okay, it looks like we got the full group here. Can we come to order, please?
Oh, shit.
This is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee meeting. It is Monday, March 25th, 2009. Gina, could you give us the call?
Mark Wessels,
Here.
Ed Fisher,
Here.
Judy Wagner,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg,
Here.
Rob Engelman, Bill Stratton.
Here.
Mayor Lucy,
Here.
Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Danny Cassette,
Here.
LB Eckelkamp, Bill Miller, Tim
Now
Brinker,
it's your turn.
Steve Sillentrop,
Here.
John Nilders.
Here.
Fantastic. Full group. Please stand. Pledge allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Wow, full team. All right.
Oh, this is great to have the full crowd.
All but Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's the only one that's missing. All right, first item on the agenda is always the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Everybody had a chance to review them? Thank you. I have a second. Yes, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Get this thing going here. Amtrak, Mark.
Yes, as of Friday, I guess it was, they shut down all the Missouri River runner runs because of the, not because of the flooding along our line, but because of the upper Midwest flooding so badly, they need to reroute the freight trains through our line. And so because of the increased volume of the freight trains, they decided it'd be best to stop Amtrak. And as of last night anyway, what I read was that this would continue through Thursday anyway.
Okay.
And I guess they'll reevaluate between now and then whether or not to continue. They are running buses, and they're trying to do what they can about people who had advance tickets and so forth. You know.
Just looking at some of the damage to the rail up north, though, it's severely damaged in spots. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of yards of rail just suspended where it had been washed down underneath. So I'm not sure how
Is this
long.
Nebraska? Is that what it's-
Yeah, the lines up through there, where, the reason we're detouring,
Right.
they're detouring now. But I don't know how quick that's gonna be repaired, so.
That's a lot of work.
Yes, and you know the river lines normally follow the river, the rail lines do, so. I don't know, I mean, I was seeing hundreds and hundreds of yards, I mean, if not miles, of pieces at a time that were undermined and just
So it
suspended.
may go beyond Thursday.
Well, I don't know, I don't know. I mean, is there gonna be that much freight moving out of there?
Yeah.
You don't know, so.
I haven't really noticed an increase in trains. Was I missing that? Did you see that? Have you felt that?
No,
I mean,
but
Doesn't
there's
say-
70 a day. I don't know if we didn't notice 10,
Would you
15
notice 100 over 70? I don't
Yeah.
know.
yeah, that's true. But Joe said he's,
Oh, they're
you're
coming
paying
in,
more
they're
attention.
coming through slower because they're back up. So they're running back 30 miles an hour instead of 40. Seems like they're just one after the other. Pretty busy.
Okay.
All right, any other comments, Mark?
No, that's it.
Hearing none, let's move on. Highway 47 Bridge. Judy, anything?
All right, well,
about it, yeah.
as of right now, the blast is still on for April 4th at 9:30 a.m. But again, that could change based on this. The rivers, you guys know, is not going down. The barges are headed this way, so they just haven't got to the site yet. Once they get here, then they'll start doing the final saw cutting and packing on the spans that are over the river that we can't reach. Today, as you see, we started the lane closures. They're doing the pre-cutting from the new bridge to the old bridge with vanless. And what they have to do is basically pre-cut all the flanges on the members so that the blast will be on the web part, and then that will be what ignites, and then sending the entire bridge just down. So the contractor will make the final call on Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
This Wednesday, because it does take 6 days to pack the explosives, so they need 6 days with the forecast of no lightning, basically is their hold, because it could
That's a good
ignite those, yes. The river elevations, obviously, is still something, because they will be working off those barges, so if it goes up considerably, they will not move forward. So Wednesday, they'll make that decision, and then we will know for sure. If they make the decision Wednesday that it will not happen within that next week, then it will be moved exactly 7 days again. So it'll go from April 4th to April 11th and then the 18th until they get that window of 6 days or 7 days prior to the blast. And that's because it takes 6 days basically to actually pack the bridge. So
Interesting.
it is. Right now, the pre-cutting is going on. That's basically all they're doing right now is getting ready for the blast. Today, we were supposed to pour the shoulder on the north side up in Warren County, on that right side as you go up. But we did call that off last night, so it'll be relocated till tomorrow. So hopefully we get that poured so that we be ready to open everything up permanently when that old bridge is gone.
And the structure will still be able to handle wind loads and things like that, even with the pre-cutting.
Yes, yes. According to the engineering blast plan that was submitted, yes. How's that sound?
Engineers never get that stuff wrong, just,
That's why I said it to
Yeah,
a
that's
fellow
why.
engineer.
That's why,
Well, because these act of God events that keep occurring, I want to
Yeah.
say that, yeah, but I mean, if you look at the member, it's kind of like just an H-pile style. And if we're just cutting the flange, and leaving the web part for the blast to ignite, that's still pretty strong. Without having any vertical loading on it, if a wind would come, I would think that it's not like we're cutting it all the way through.
well, and the deck is all removed, which is a lot of the weight, and you're also
Yes.
shielded from the winds with the existing bridge.
Yes,
So
that
during
helps
these storms, a
buffer.
lot of your winds are gonna come out of the northwest. You've got the bridge there kind of blocking it. I mean, I'm not a structural engineer, I'm not gonna take any liability, but I feel pretty good about it.
yeah, well, that's good.
We'll blame Ray
You know, when they're
Frankenberg.
talking about inspecting the new bridge, which I understand that, but do they ever have problems after all this? Has that ever
No,
happened
not
before?
really.
Okay.
No, but we will have monitors out there. Because as a lot of you know, this is a sound wave kind of explosion. It's not the ground. So, when we drill and blast for making aggregate or removing rock, you're actually in the ground. So that travels differently than the sound waves that will be happening now. So, when we were doing the drilling for the new bridge down in that bedrock, we were monitoring the old bridge because we could have hit some kind of rock that was, holding up the old bridge. So that was probably more important than what we're happening now. It will feel a vibration, just like the hospital will feel a vibration. People will feel it probably miles away, the actual implosion, but it really won't have that structural damage that goes with when you shift the earth under the structure itself.
And are we blasting the piers at this time, or will the
No,
concrete piers?
everything is superstructure above.
Okay, and then will the piers also be demoed, removed?
No, they
or
will
remain?
demo. No, they will demo them, I'm sorry, but they won't be blasted.
But that's a separate process.
That'll be after this, yes.
So all we're doing right now is waiting in April for a forecast of no thunder.
Exactly,
For
for a
7
7-day period.
So we'll see
Good
you
luck.
in May.
Goody,
Well, optimistically, especially like yesterday when that came up. and it
That
was
came out of nowhere, really.
So spotty.
But it was forecast.
Yeah, it was forecasted for severe storms. But was it a week ago, 7 days ago? That's going to be the risky part. They did make the call last week to go ahead and send the barges this way, so that was a big thing, based on the river levels.
And what are the barges for?
Those are what they'll work off of to do the final cuts and the packing on the spans over the bridge. So they
Goody,
should be here.
Where are they coming from?
I don't know. Up in St. Louis somewhere they have them staged. Our subcontractor has those up north. And those are pretty substantial size barges because they do have some huge cranes that'll be put on those to remove that out of the bridge, out of the river. Because once that falls into the river, obviously just the weight of steel, but it also is going to get down in that top level of muck that's in the river bottom. So that suction, trying to pull it up, you know, if each piece weighs 60 ton, but you know, you've got all that extra pressure that's gonna be holding it down. So they'll have some pretty large cranes to try to get that out and get that navigable channel open in time.
Goody, the lanes on the north side
Yes.
seem to be kind of narrow. Are still a lot more work to be done on that?
Yeah, that's what we were gonna pour today. We were gonna pour that northbound shoulder, it'd be on the east side as you're headed north. Because right now you're driving on the southbound shoulder and the southbound lane. So once we get that poured, then you'll be able to, we'll shift traffic over once the bridge is removed.
Yeah, what about the lighting? When will they begin on that work?
They've been working on it now. It's just a matter of when we get this old bridge out of the way, then we'll start focusing on that. But right now, they've been out there working. Gersher has been out there working on it.
Well, is on the new bridge, the deck, is that going to be lighted?
No,
Nothing on the.
Be no lights
nothing
on there
over
at
the
all?
bridge deck itself, no.
But on
Just the trail.
The trail have side lights.
Trail has those post lights, right?
No, the trail has an embedded light in the barrier wall on the far west barrier wall. Because what we didn't want to do is when you're looking at from the riverfront, your vista is going to be just the
beams.
the major girders over the river, over the spans, and then the pier lighting goes directly down, and then the girder lighting fades as it goes out over the channels. Because you know how the girders go down, the belly girders go down. So as they get narrower, we're like, here's a pier and here's a pier. As they go like this, they'll be brighter in the middle and fade as they go over the piers.
Well, is that
So-
going to be enough lighting on the deck?
Well,
will
Highway
be no-
47 is not lit
There's
as
no
you
lighting
come
on
from the
that.
rural part down. No, there will not be lighting like Herman. And now we're getting more and more questions like that, so it might be a good time to have that discussion again and maybe show the lighting renderings that we have on our website again. Because I think people now are getting concerned that there is no street lighting.
So a better way to maybe ask those questions is, will there be any lighting on the bridge that could distract or deter from the drivers driving the cars? So if you have that low lighting, you'll worry about glare and things like that causing distractions. It'll be the same as the highway on the north side of the river. There'll be,
You're sure it's been engineered
Dark.
correctly?
It will be
Certain.
dark. But you know, if you've been on the boat at night on the river, you can see when you go under Herman, it kind of blinds you because you're looking at those lights up here and you're trying to see where the piers are. So now with having just the girder lighting, you'll definitely be able to see the piers and that won't obstruct your view or your vision,
but that is for a view not on the driving lane.
not on the driving lanes.
And now is a good time to bring all this up because people are going to be asking, because now it's in people's vision in their mind from years ago when we started this, they start wanting to see that, whatever it is. And if they don't see that, they're going to ask. And in theory, we're the people who would know. Not engineers, I'm talking about this board.
If you go on our website and just scroll down, the 47 Bridge website where we have the live footage and everything, if you scroll down under renderings, and then you can just, there's like 15 renderings of what it will look like. It has the trail at night and day. And I mean, everything so far is looking exactly what the renderings showed. But they do have the night view.
The nightlight.
Hopefully they don't have. Yes, that'll be fine.
On the south side of the bridge, is that gonna get more asphalt there?
Absolutely, yes. All that asphalt that's down there is temporary, and it's not widened all the way.
All right.
So, and right now, we've got you curving like this, and you really don't need to do that. So when the project's finished, when we get the final lifts of asphalt in there, the final striping, it's a much more gentle curve.
I hope so.
So, yes, because right now, 18-wheelers cannot stay in their lane unless they're going, really slow. But once the project's finished, and again, we've really got to just get that old bridge out of the way, and then we can start widening and filling because the approaches on both sides are higher than the old. So we do need to get that work finished, but we can't do that until the contractor's finished getting the bridge out of there. And once the deck and the superstructure's gone, then all the work will be from underneath, so that'll be easier.
Are we blasting over the railroad too, or is that?
The deck truss, no. That's what we're actually waiting on. Hopefully today we'll hear back from them on a time because we have to, that's really going to control the actual time of the blast because, we can give them a 2-hour window of between 9 and 11. But when the trains are gonna be stopped, especially with the increased number of trains.
Yeah, with more trains.
That's one of the reasons they're waiting so long to tell us exactly what minute we can do it.
How long can we close it?
The rail line,
Yeah.
5 minutes is their goal is to not shut it
They're
down.
never more than 5 minutes late anyway.
Never. But, yeah, so that's our goal is to just let it, as soon as the last train is stopped, then boom, we're gonna ignite but we have to have the all clear. So as soon as the rails say it's clear, which their flaggers will be out there. So we'll have railroad flaggers, they'll say, okay, all trains are stopped. Then we've got, I think, 10 points around that say, okay, all clear here, all clear at point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because anybody within 1,000 feet has to be indoor, just in case something would fly. They want to make sure that that's their safety distance around.
So nothing comes down actually on the track? then? Surely
No,
they can't
they
clear
have
that technically.
they've got a safety span that they're suspending, so that'll come on.
So that'll catch it, or?
So there will be
The deck.
blasting above the tracks, but
You
there's
know,
no
I don't
safety.
want to say there's blasting above the tracks because that's not.
Judy,
Don't know.
We have safety span that's under the deck, because remember, that's the actual deck truss. So that's the truss system that's below the driving surface. And then our Warren truss starts on that Pier 9, which is on the north side of the railroad tracks. And that main span is what is getting blasted. And they may just lift, so I don't know yet. So we'll just leave that out until,
where will the fireman be who's gonna push the button?
they will be at, well, 3rd Street and 47 is going to be the main control station. So right on 47, because we're closing 47 at 5th Street. The 1,000-foot mark is right at 3rd Street. So we're going to try to keep the ER open. Well, we will keep the ER open to the hospital because that driveway falls at like 1,012 feet or something from the actual Ignite location. So having 5th Street closed with local police, they'll be able to open and allow any ambulances to go into the hospital. The hospital obviously has been an intricate part of the planning process because of their MRI machines. Any kind of shaking on the machine itself will obviously potentially ruin the machine or have false results, along with any surgeries at the hospital. Because you will feel just a little bit. So the hospital, it's critical that they are scheduling windows in their gaps. So we are coordinating with the manufacturer of their machines, with our contractor as far as the actual waves that are coming across there. Because as you know, as you probably know better than any of us, being on the board, how expensive those MRI machines are. We just want to make sure that we're not getting anything out of whack or out of calibration on those.
And a 6-day notice for them has got to be tough. So
Yes.
I'd say they're working, I mean, to get that's got to be kind of.
So that's why it's intricate that this Wednesday, as soon as we say yes or no, the blast is on or off, then they can start changing their operations or their
Scheduling.
scheduling for any kind of operation. I mean, eye doctors, anything that could be, just enough. And the problem is we can't say 9:30 exactly it's going to happen. That's our goal is 9:30, but again, trains, anybody that is in this 1,000 feet decides to come outside their house, that's going to be a no, we can't go.
Easy.
So they have to get in their house. So we're really asking for folks to, at 9:30, you'll hear a blast. That's a 5-minute warning, and then you'll hear another series of blasts. That's the all clear, and that gives us like 10 seconds to say clear, clear, clear. Then it's 10 seconds of silence. So if any of the zones have anybody that potentially could be out, or a train that didn't listen, or whatever, possibly a boat, anything, during that 10-second all clear, if they don't hear anything, then we know in 10 seconds it will blow.
How about the schools? Or some of them are probably gonna let kids out? or-
Well, I've talked to 2 or 3 of them already because they were planning on coming out. But the viewing area is going to be at the Riverfront Park, right down here. And due to the crowd sizes expected, I know Our Lady of Lourdes, who we've been has been following us the whole time, and I've been going out teaching them and stuff. I think they have decided just to stay in the classroom and stream it online. So it will be streamed live on our Facebook page. We will also have a videographer and a photographer on the barge in the river on the downstream side, so they'll get the full image of it. And that will be shareable or whatever, we need to do. But they'll probably, the bad part is the kids will probably feel it before they're actually going to see it on there, just because the 3-second delay that Facebook Live has. But again, they're more concerned with getting school buses back and forth, not so much maybe getting to see it. But I don't know what the other schools have done. I have not heard anybody on the north side talk about coming down. No.
St. Vincent, that's one of them I talked to.
Okay.
They're debating.
Are they? Okay. And then Aloysius, I know I taught math, or talked to them a couple times too. And I haven't heard if they're coming down either. I think just walking on the new bridge was really a lot for them. Just the logistics of getting them off school permission slips.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is quite a bunch.
Judy, is it the contractor that is figuring all this out, or you, or who?
Contractors. Our subcontractor, Alberici is our prime, and then Marshall Wrecking is our sub for the blast itself. And they have subcontractors that are, one is in charge of the blast itself and doing all the packing. And then there's Budrovich is bringing in the barges and the crane. So Marshall Wrecking is the subcontractor that's pretty much in charge of the removal of the existing bridge. So the subcontractor they have hired to do all the ignition part of it, the blast, all that, and then they subbed out to Budrovich for all the cranes and barges.
They have to deal with the railroad, and they have to deal.
Yes, the blast plan, I think, is probably this thick. That's all the engineering calculations, trying to figure out what pieces need to go, how much ignition, actually ignition or igniting the powder that has to go on each blast. That's all within the plan. Each weight of each piece is also in there because there is the requirement to get that navigable channel open within 24 hours, meaning the full entire 8-foot draft that we have requirement and, the 300 to 500 foot width. So getting it out of the river is going to be the critical part. So as soon as it goes down, they're going to start coming in and clamshelling that pieces out of there. Some of it may be protruding out of the water if it was low, but I don't think with as high as the river is now. They also said that if the gauge is over 17 or 18 foot, they probably will not go. So that'll be a deciding factor on Wednesday as well.
It's
What's
not
the
gonna go
projection?
down until like Sunday or Monday now.
Right.
Close.
But if the projection for those 7 days will be under that,
I don't think so.
It's like 24, 25, I think is what I remember yesterday.
What's gonna crest at 22 tomorrow,
On-
22 something.
yes.
Really, so it's below 22 now?
I thought I
Must
just
have
saw
read
it was
it.
Yeah, do you want me to
22.
tell you what it is?
Yes, if you don't mind. No. But yeah, that's what they're gonna be responsible for doing. Their main goal up front is to get the blast, get the bridge down safe, because it should just fall straight down. It will go straight down, Joe. And, and get it out of the river.
Will they have any divers to help hook things up, or are they just gonna reach down there,
Normally, it's just clamshell and
dig around?
pick it up, put it on the barges, go down, unload it, come back, and keep pushing pieces
But it's
up
gonna be
there.
in pretty big pieces, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, it's not gonna be like
10 to
there's a-
20 feet pieces, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
To get it
pretty
up.
big. Okay, so this morning, the river was 20.93, and
Okay.
it's gonna crest Wednesday morning at 22.
22 was the crest still. okay.
22.3.
And then
And
look
that's gonna
for,
start going down.
yeah. So by Wednesday, they'll have the 7-day,
If it doesn't rain.
Yeah,
If
if
it
it doesn't
doesn't
rain or whatever's coming,
And that's the Washington gauge, right?
yes.
yeah.
How far do the recreational boats have to be from the bridge?
1,000 feet.
1,000
And
feet?
there will be barges in the water. There will be water patrol in the water. There will also be conservation in the water to make sure the fish kill and examine anything if something would go. There are pre-blast, pre-sonic kind of dish, like, not horns, but something similar to that, where they do, and so that it scares wildlife away prior to the blast, so that we hopefully don't have any fish
Don't
kill.
worry about
But they will be in the water just in case there's any,
Leave the Asian carp.
the Asian carp. There was a nest of them down there. No, I'm just kidding. It's all fine.
Boy, that'd be good to get rid of them.
But we're not here to kill anything or get
didn't
rid of
say
any
that.
real problems, so we'll just get the blast down. But you will hear those beginning horns, and part of the reason is just to get the warning to the wildlife to make sure it stays and gets out of the way prior to it coming.
Can air photos be taken?
No, the airspace, that's the other thing. The airport, of course, is the easiest part because we can restrict air traffic. And I think we're doing a 1 hour,
Yeah, it's a 1 hour window.
1 hour window of all air traffic. So no drones, planes. For that closure, I think, what did we say, 9 to 10? Or
Yeah.
did we do a 2 hour?
We,
No,
we
you know
still,
what?
we had to work out the actual schedule on that, but,
Okay.
I had a question. Does MoDOT approve, I guess, the blast plan, or how does that work?
We
Is it
review
submitted to
the
you and
blast.
review it?
We review the blast plan, yes, because all their engineering work is in there, signed and sealed. So that is the engineer of record for the blast plan itself. Our bridge engineers do review that for all their calculations, making sure everything is, you know,
It's more of a checklist.
it's
that
more of a
there.
check of their calculations. So their engineer is actually doing the engineering on the blast itself.
And the reason-
How many pounds of ignite in each location, those kind of things.
The reason why I ask is, could I get a copy of that? Because the city does issue a blasting permit to the contractor.
Marshall
so I
will
wanna-
have to submit that to
Okay.
you to get their blasting permit.
Okay, perfect.
And Jeremy probably would be the person to call.
That'll work.
And then the other thing with that, you know, getting all these permits and everything from everybody is quite the duty for them to get done. I was gonna say,
How far out do they restrict the airspace? How far out do they?
the airspace has to be within that 1,000 feet of the
Oh,
bridge.
oh.
But in this case, since the vibrations and so forth are air, that they would close the airport. I want to say we had talked originally for a 4-hour closure of the airspace in this area. And then, that way we've got that big window to say, here it is. River traffic will be closed for a minimum of 24 hours under the bridge. So if you put in on the downstream side, you're gonna be on the downstream side when the blast goes off, because you won't be able to motor through the work zone. The river will be closed to all traffic during this time. Minimum 24 hours, hopefully 48 hours, we'll have everything to where it'll be a navigable channel open. We do encourage boaters to, if they want to see it, to put in downstream and then make sure they got their trailers at that end so they could take out on the
That would
downstream.
be at Klondike?
Put in at Klondike.
Klondike,
Closest, yeah.
yeah, that would be the closest, but I mean, there's numerous launch ramps going down to Boone Bridge even, there's some.
The Klondike would be the closest.
We just want to make sure we don't get the situation where we got a stranded boat down here and his trailer's up there, or vice versa. But the highway, water patrol will be on both sides, so we'll have somebody on both sides that can assist if there is something going on. Coast Guard,
Did we, and unfortunately I was not at the last meeting, but did we talk about the actual ramp itself here in Washington?
yeah, the ramp here was
It's
going to be
closed.
closed.
We verified it, okay.
We're gonna
Because
close it.
I was going to get
It's
with New Haven and all the surrounding areas, just to let them know that they could see an influx of people putting in, so.
And again, they'd be upstream of the blast.
Right,
so-
right, wouldn't be a problem.
People were going
Yeah,
in
that's
there
probably a good
yesterday.
warning.
They're still checking their trot lines.
What's that?
He
Oh,
said the water's up there.
Well, they
People were going in and out of the
using it.
river yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
We're putting in. You just
So we just
start
got to be,
earlier.
make sure that people are aware of it.
Yeah.
Are there many MoDOT officials to be here to watch it?
No, I think me. No, I'm just kidding. There'll be no dignitaries or anything. I don't think so. It'll just be like we'll have a crew of bridge engineers at 3rd Street and 47, and as soon as the blast's done, they'll go out and inspect the new bridge to make sure that there was no damage or vibration or anything that we would be concerned with for the new bridge before we do allow traffic to cross the new bridge. And that'll be the all clear then, once our engineers examine the new bridge, then we would allow traffic to flow again. But we are telling people to plan for a 2-hour closure from 9 a.m. to 11. So if you have doctor's appointments or whatever you need to get across the river for, plan on a 2-hour closure. We are detouring trucks up to Herman or down to Boone if they come up 47 from the Washington side. On the north end, they'll be sending them down 94 to park until they get done, or they can take 94 up to Herman So the out-of-town folks are the ones that are probably going to get detoured. Locals can plan their trips, hopefully. We will be talking on the radio. They just had a show Friday, and then in the newspaper coverage, hopefully. All the individual property owners that are in that 1,000 foot will be getting a visit from the contractor to talk about it and make sure they stay inside. Is there anything else? Air, water, pedestrian, the trail's closing, and actually the trail is going to be closed even farther than it is today. And then the vehicles will be closed at Dutzow and at Fifth Street, this way. And then First, Missouri, 3rd Street will be closed back to the radius of that 1,000 foot mark.
You're going to have an awful lot of law enforcement officials on hand.
Absolutely. I think we needed 14 Washington PD.
Awesome.
And then on the north side, Joe,
We had highway patrol and then we had.
the sheriff's department and the highway patrol are going to take on the north end. And you have 6. I didn't know the final count. The fire department, ambulance, those people will be staged as well on both sides so that anything occurs during that closure period. They would be the first ones allowed across if there was an emergency. If there is something wrong with the new bridge, the EOC will be set up here at the EOC Center over here. And Mark Scornia and myself and others will be immediately meet here and go through our plan of how to handle traffic and so forth. That won't happen though, so we're not worried about it. But if it does, we will stand up the EOC, but it will not be stood up like when we did stand it up during the bridge opening ceremony. Because of the forecast of inclement weather, we did stand the EOC up. Mark didn't get to come out, so this time he wants to come out and see the bridge blast, so. All media will be coming down to the Riverfront Park as well, and they'll be given that old, like, what do we call that thing where you?
That's the
Like a
loading
loading
area.
dock.
Yeah, it's a loading dock onto the river.
So we'll have that area barreled off for media. Right now, it is scheduled for the Cardinals opening day, so I'm not sure if we'll get St. Louis media coverage, but I would sure think they'd want to cover the blast, but you never know what takes priority.
So the city warning system will go off, is that what you were talking about?
No, there'll be air horns. We do not want anybody else helping. It will be the contractor only will have their own air warning system.
Okay.
No, we will not. We don't want anybody else to be messing with their system, if that makes sense.
That's a good time for a test.
Thursday, April 4th, 9:30, do not.
No.
Yeah, that would not be good. But you will hear a series of blasts, so, or horns, I shouldn't say blasts, horns.
What happens if you say yes on, or they say yes on Wednesday, the next Monday, Tuesday, they say no?
We're in trouble. No, we will have to come up with something. We're not in trouble, but we will have to do something. They do put plywood boxes around each point of discharge, and that's just to keep the blast contained within that. If you do see debris, it will probably be that plywood box that they wrap around the actual the igniters. But so basically, they're just going to sit out there. There's going to be live powder attached to this bridge with the box around it. So if that happens to get a strike of lightning, that potentially could be ignited, and that's the biggest fear. So technically, they're not going to pack half the bridge and stop. They're going to go all or none. So that's why it's so risky this Wednesday. If they make the decision, they're going to start packing. They're going to bring the explosives in. There'll be 24-hour security around the trailer with the explosives in it, which will be parked, and the EMS folks will know where that is for their own knowledge. It's not going to be public where they put it, but there will be 24-hour surveillance on that. Any other questions? It's really a big deal to do this.
Yeah, really.
First one I've really been involved with, but the fact that they're doing it all as one, well, I wouldn't go that far. That was pretty intense. But the fact is, it's a lot higher risk is basically, especially like you said, in the spring, whoever said that. This is a crazy time, but we have until the end of August to be finished with the project, so it could potentially push. But again, we want to be safe. Safety is #1 priority with Alberici and MoDOT, so.
Well, MoDOT has dropped other old bridges into the water on the Missouri. Have you had any problems that occurred during those drop?
Well, our contractors have blown up several as a form of the demolition of the structures, and no, there has not been any major issues.
But when they do it in the summer.
But a lot of times they've done them in one span at a time. This Warren Truss happened to be designed all as one piece. So it's given us the opportunity to do the whole piece. Alberici, as a prime contractor, has done several of these. Marshak Wrecking, who is our subcontractor, he is, and his subcontractors have done a number of them as well. So we feel pretty confident.
If
Yeah,
we,
the weather's a big thing.
The weather and the water level is the big thing.
if we do get delayed, what items are being pushed back as a result of this delay? Is everything kind of going on?
The final demolition, the final removal of the structure, and as we said, we can't build a road and shift traffic. That's really what's being held up. So as soon as that old bridge is gone, Alberici can finish all the road work and get us on our final traffic pattern, our traffic lanes. So that would be what would be held up. But the lighting contractor continues to work on light installation.
The trail that comes under the bridge?
The trail is the last thing that will be done, because they're gonna be using that as part of the removal process, because all the debris is gonna go to the dikes, and then they'll haul out from below. So those things can all be done when we're finished. You know, we could have people in their final location on the highway itself, and they could still be getting all that work done. So the impact to the public is just the delay of getting us in our final traffic configuration that people will see or notice. And then, of course, the trail opening, that would also be delayed.
What's the date for the pedestrian bikeway to be open to the public?
I don't know. Sometime in late May is what we're right now expecting, but there's a lot of stuff that has to get finished underneath. So we could push that back every time something happens. Like we were gonna blast in early March. Now it's pushed back again. So
But it's late March.
we will not open.
Late May.
Yeah, we will not open the trail until we're finished. Because we have to make that connection on the north side. Because remember, the trail goes underneath
Yeah.
and up. So they'll have to get everything done underneath, including putting the dike back in the way it was, removal of causeway, final seeding and mulching, and everything will have to be done before we can open it.
The weather has,
You might as well just say July. I have no idea, Bill.
good luck.
Yes.
Very good, thank you, Judy. I know, this is I guess I never had any indication that this was gonna be that complex. And whatever, and all the different agencies involved, it looks like you guys have got a handle on it.
Yes, lots of agencies, lots of impacts.
All right, moving on. Highway 47, the Corridor Committee. John, anything?
We've not met, but it did dawn on me that you guys may have not got or received a digital copy of that. I can work on trying to get everybody a digital copy of that report if you all would like.
Yeah,
So we'll pull that together, and it's a pretty large document, so we'll try to compress it as far as we can. And I don't know if we'll be able to email it, but we'll see what we can do.
okay.
Okay.
Transportation Committee, Frank County?
Yeah, we met last Thursday, March 21st. Really, the biggest two topics that we discussed was just funding for Highway 47, potential widening, from Washington to St. Clair. Just throwing out various ideas, very high level. There was nothing identified. These smaller type projects that would fit in with the overall goal, I think, is probably where we need to start. I know MoDOT is reviewing that and seeing if there's any opportunity there. There was some discussion regarding sales tax, things of that nature, and understanding that everyone is pushing, 9%, 10% sales tax, that may not be an opportunity. So that was discussed in that meeting. The other item we had was a salt contract. The municipalities within Franklin County do contract essentially with Franklin County. They kind of have a master contract for salt. Ron Williams indicated that would go out from a July to July bid, and where we would be able to purchase salt after July of this year, and then potentially have that same bid price, even if it was like a late winter purchase next year. So they're going to be working on that as well. I do know that we as the city are going to also be looking at all of our options on purchasing salt this year. We were running a little low on salt, and I'm just concerned, as winter kind of progresses, maybe into next year, we want to make sure that we have all of our options on the table to make sure the city doesn't run out of salt. So we're going to be potentially looking at bidding ours out as well. So we'll see what comes in better, and then we'll take the better bid of both options.
I just think the county going out earlier this year than in the past is going to help out.
It will, yeah. And we will obviously latch onto that if the bids come back good. It's just we need to make sure that we're protected as well. So we're working on that. That's all I have.
Comments, questions? Hearing none, Warren County? Joe, Eric, nothing? Airport, Ray.
Actually,
Yeah.
John,
Oh, John.
Yeah, we are working on phase 2 of the pavement removal completion this week. I don't know if, I guess everyone's aware that Reneri Contracting did file suit against the city on, I guess, breach of contract for the airport apron replacement project. We are working on finalizing a settlement with that. So details will be put forth here in the next coming weeks. They did agree to, there were, I believe, seven panels, I think, that were damaged during striping removal operations. Part of that initial, or the settlement, is that they would remove and replace those in totality. They are on phase 2 of that. So it was phase 1 and 2 to allow access to the fuel pumps. That should be completed this week. There'll be a cure time of approximately 10 days. So knock on wood, within the next 2 weeks, this contract will be closed out with them.
Very good.
So we're moving right along. Overall, I think it's a good meet in the middle, and we got the product that we set forth to get, so.
Very good, very good.
And we will, you did not see in your report any of the fuel sales through the past month. We are working, trying to get that up and running with our own staff, so hopefully in the next coming meetings, we'll have those fuel sale numbers to you all for review.
Very good. Anything else? Otherwise, team track,
No report.
nothing? East-West Parkway,
No report.
public transportation, we don't really take that off of our agenda. I think that's probably not something we've talked much about, the public transportation. I think it's, the couple of people, the industries that move people around are taking care of that situation, are they not?
Yeah, to my knowledge, I mean, I don't know
I don't
if
hear
there's
anything
any
about it.
expansion of that. I don't know.
Okay. Any other business?
I just wanted to mention a couple things. I know MoDOT has a project, and maybe Judy can hit on it. MoDOT on Highway 47 from the bridge. Okay, good, you were on it. From 47 to Norwood Trailer Park, they're going to be doing a micro surface of Highway 47, a maintenance project, and there is a sidewalk component to that.
Yes, we'll be improving all the sidewalks from Third Street down to Norwood. Anything that's existing will be fixed and brought into compliance with the ADA laws today. The apparent low bidder was Pace Construction Company, so
Perfect.
they'll hopefully start in early May. Most of the work is going to be at night. That will impact traffic. Of course, during the day, they'll be doing the sidewalk work and ADA ramps work.
And the city is also, we have a project, overlay of Beaker Studerman Road with the sidewalk component to that as well, that we will be matching up with them. That is currently being bid. We most likely will start that at the end of May, outside of school session. So we'll be following up either right before, it'll be in conjunction with
Same
MoDOT.
time,
So we'll just have to
hopefully.
coordinate. So
Concrete matches, so it should.
it will be
It
fine.
will.
Line in the sand, it's pretty easy.
We hope.
There is an effort at the state level to bring back 4 cent or 6 cents worth of gas tax, and doing it over 3 years. So that's coming. It's going to be much simpler than the last proposal that nobody really understood, like, what was happening. So it's in the
Better
process. It's being talked about. Probably something will be proposed to be on a ballot, but later on in the year. I don't think it'll happen in the near term. So that's all I have on that one. So, any other business?
I have an announcement to make, Bill, if you don't mind,
understand.
publicly. I will be retiring from MoDOT.
We don't accept that. Next
I know,
session.
that's what Patrick told me. Effective September 1st, so I will be moving on to a new second career with the City of Arnold. I will be their Public Works Director, so very excited. I'll start there October 1st. So, can't retire yet, but retire from MoDOT, so.
Well, certainly, we're going to miss you. Do you know of your replacement? Or who the-
No, but I have been speaking with my supervisor on getting this person. Hopefully, the advertisement will be able to go out in June so that I can at least have a month to 2 months with the new area engineer to help mentor and train and try to get adjusted and make sure everybody knows who he or she will be. So if anybody is interested, please let us know, because we're having trouble finding engineers that are willing to do this job. And I don't know why, it's not that bad of a job. But
Why are you leaving?
Why are you leaving?
it's really a good
Not be as
job.
good as Arnold.
No, the money is much better there, is that the problem?
Judy, we're going to miss you.
Well,
We
thank
are.
you, Bill. I'll miss all of you, definitely. It's been a long time. May.
How long has it been? When
You
did
really
you?
want to know? The first time I met you all was April of 2002. And I
2002.
officially took the position May 1st, 2002, when Dan left. He was promoted to assistant district engineer up in Hannibal. And then I got promoted up to this position, so it's been
Yeah, it's
great.
been too long.
And wonderful opportunity. Too long, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yes, well, we started, I said I gotta finish 100, get it widened, and that new bridge in Washington. So, the completion date on the bridge project actually is September 2nd of 2019. So, we will have that accepted, hopefully the entire project done before I
I think you ought to wait till 46.
exit the department. Until 47,
We
yeah,
need
no.
46.
I'll leave that for the newbie, how's that? That's gonna be, but I will definitely give him or her a lot of, guidance.
Benefit of your experience.
Guidance, yes.
What's the date of the changeover again? You said?
I will retire September 1st. My last day will be August something. Yeah, so hopefully, we will have somebody in, hopefully by mid-July, hopefully, definitely by the 1st of August, I would hope. So that I can bring them around and meet everybody and see the area. And it would be wonderful if they actually lived in Franklin or Jefferson County. So they had a little bit of piece of the, piece of the county with them, because that drives your passion a little bit when everywhere you go, somebody's like, Judy, the signal isn't working. Judy, the stop sign's down. Judy, this is, blah, blah, blah. So that part of the job I won't miss. I'll be able to go into town and not hear something. But hopefully it's somebody that's vested in the community is what I really hope for. Because I still live in the county as well, and, and all you guys I consider my friends, so got to take care of us all us Germans. No. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure working with y'all. It won't be my last meeting, I promise.
No, you got at least
I'm
three-
just gonna
three
take
more- you got
off
at least
a few
3
months.
more meetings.
April,
My
May,
supervisor
June.
keeps telling me
She really
that. Like,
has
how much sick
April,
time and how much
May, June,
vacation
July.
and how much comp time do you have? I have enough to be off until I retire, with plus a lot more. But I would never do that, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good. Thank you for all your efforts, Judy, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you the next 4 months, 5 months,
Yes.
whatever, and
I think I have a vacation in one of those meetings. but
hopefully your replacement so that,
It'd be great if we could meet them
great
in
if we can meet them and
advance.
get.
Exactly. And we'll give them the warm welcome that I was given. It said, oh my God, they sent us a woman. That way. But again, let's think about May of 2012.
Hey, you know what, Judy?
I remember I was like, what?
However,
You don't even know me. Give me a But I heard that my whole life as an engineer being a woman, so.
but Judy, it didn't take long until I heard, she's really bright. She really knows what she's doing. She's going to be great. So you did a great job early on. So anyway, it was great.
And I've been asked to be the keynote speaker at our women's conference in St. Louis.
Oh, good.
So for MoDOT, we have a women's conference every year. And Wednesday, we're actually hosting it in Franklin County at the Purina Farms. And so I'm using that as part of my keynote speech is, you're always going to have that hurdle to get over as a female, whether it's a mayor job or a whatever it is. But yeah, so I'm going to use your story of somebody saying, they sent us a woman, like they were so excited. So anyway, so you might, hear other folks know that
You're going
story.
to tell them we were pretty nice guys.
I will absolutely say that.
It didn't take long for
I
everybody.
had a male role model. My dad was the best, so I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for my dad, so.
Well, your expertise has certainly made a mark on this community and this county, so we
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right.
Anything else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Thank you all. See you later. Tough.
Listen, because you have your bolt. Your bolt
No, I'm
is sitting on my table
get
in
it.
my office.
Yeah,
curious, I gotta do
You wanna
HR
run up there now and
Yeah,
get it?
I'll do that.
It's got your name on it. Marlon and them know where it is.
sick leave.
Okay, so go get it.
For every 168 hours of sick leave. I'll get.
Yeah,